Hey YouTube, Bianato here, the best 3rd/4th tier Pokemon Go battler in the world, and today we are talking about Eevee Community Day. It's happening this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, 11 to 5 to get the Eevees, and then you can evolve it for a couple hours, not a couple hours, a couple days, through Friday through, I think it's early Monday, because you need to evolve Umbreon at night to get this move, so you need to have the ability to evolve at night. So what do we care about? We care about PvP. So I was going to do a full analysis on all these Pokemon, and in my searching, I came across a Reddit post from JRE47, and what he did a full analysis on this already. So I'm not going to do an analysis on all of them except Umbreon and Sylveon, because basically what he said for Vaporeon with Scald, Jolteon with Zap Cannon, Flareon with Superpower, Espeon with Shadow Ball, Leafeon with Bull Seed, Glaceon with Water Pulse. His conclusion for his analysis was it improves them slightly, not enough for them to warrant PvP consideration. So for his recommendation was get one anyways in case there's like a buff in the future, but for now they do not have relevance with the current state of PvP in the Great League, Ultra League, and Master League as is. So you could get it in case there's like a special cup, like if they ban certain. It doesn't hurt to get them because they are all improvements from the current moveset, but given the 3 leagues as are right now, they do not have relevance in PvP. So one of those situations, get one, but you probably won't use it in the near future. That said, Umbreon and Sylveon, there was a difference, and so we're going to go over both of them, and I'll show you what those differences are, and then how I and others and him and do their analysis. So it's always using PvPoke. So for those of you who haven't used it, it's one of the best resources out there. And what you want to do is go to battle. And in the battle, there's a couple things you can do: single, multi, or matrix. Because we want to look at the Umbreon comparison, you go to matrix. So this is Great League. So let's put in Umbreon with Last Resort, and then let's put in Umbreon with the Psychic. And then we come down to custom groups here. And then you write Great League meta, and they'll pop up all the different Great Leagues. And then the meta, and then you go down and you press battle. And basically what that's going to do is it's going to run a simulation. So the simulation is down at the bottom here, and what you're going to see is it's from 0 to 1,000. 500 to 1,000 means you win the matchup, and then below 500 you lose the matchup. 500 is an even matchup. So as you can see, I've got on the top is the Umbreon with Last Resort, and on the bottom is Umbreon with Psychic. So in the first few matches here, there's no difference. And then you get to Chestnut. You still lose, but so just for example, with Last Resort, you would have lost 264, which is a pretty hard loss. And now you lose with 364. So it's still a loss. It's still a decent loss, but at least you can do some more chip damage with the Psychic. So as we move through this, right now you're going to see there's not a ton. This is the one shield. We're going to do analysis on the 0 shield as well after. But for now, there is nothing that's changed. And then you get to here. And this is going to be a common theme with Umbreon. Mandibuzz. You would have won with Last Resort, but you now lose with Psychic. Because now you do not have, you just have 2 resisted movesets. And that's going to be a common theme. You're going to now lose even harder. Some of the dark Pokemon you would have lost anyways, but now you're going to lose even harder, or you would have flipped this matchup. But you do gain. So most of this is the same. And now we get to Nidoqueen, which is the poison. And now you have a moveset that's going to hit super effective for that. So now you pick up the win against Nidoqueen. Similarly, so as you can see, like Obstagoon, you're already getting destroyed, and now you're getting destroyed plus. And that's a situation where if you are going to run, I'm going to talk about team building at the ending. If you are going to run a team with a Psychic Umbreon, you're going to lose extremely hard to like Obstagoons and Scrafties. And what the problem is, they can just ramp up because they have nothing to fear from your moveset. So you need to build around a team with 2 Pokemon that can deal with those. As we continue here, not a ton changing until we get to, where are you, Toxicroak? There you are, Toxicroak. And again, another fighter where that Psychic is going to just take it out. So, and then obviously in the Umbreon, if you're going against Umbreon in the last resort and you have Psychic, again, it's another Dark. You pick up you don't get a win on the Venusaur, but you pick up a bit there, and you pick up the victory bell. And the problem with PV Poke is it always comes down to baiting here. So that's why I sometimes just like going no shields, just to see, okay, if it's not a bait game, what happens? So no shields, no shields. Let's do that again, just in case. Okay. We have, so far, nothing that's coming across my eyes here. You still, so interesting. Machamp is now an even 500. So you went against the Shadow Machamp. So you went from losing that matchup to now with Psychic, no shields, taking that matchup. So that's interesting. And then your Obstagoon, you're not getting destroyed. You're still getting destroyed, but it wasn't, and not like the 100s that it was. And then keep going. So it's interesting because now you saw Toxicroak was a loss when you had one shield each because the counters would have added up. But now in the 0 shields, you would have taken both anyways. But now you just get a little more added. And then expected there. And same thing with the Venusaur. The Venusaur can overpower you with a shield, but not when the shields are down. So now you take that matchup because that Psychic will hurt. So that's, for the Great League, you're going to pick up the poisons like Nidoqueen, Venusaur, and then win the 0 shield, and then Toxicroak as the fighter. So let's put these back to 1 shield here. Let's go to the Ultra League. And now we're going to reset this and throw in the Ultra League meta here. That'll update, and this is the 1 shield. So back to the start, 1 shield. Doesn't look like there's any change so far. And again, you can do this for yourself. It's very easy. And it just gives you an idea of how to team build because you just see like where your biggest strengths, where your biggest weaknesses, and build around there. So right now in the 1 shield, there has been 0 flips. Okay, there's Machamp. Again, the Shadow Machamp, you still lose in the 1 shield, but you get a little back there, which is good. Muck, you lose harder, which is not surprising because now you don't have a neutral type move that can hit from against Muck. Again, the Nidoqueen, you pick up the Nidoqueen win with the Psychic, which is expected. Obstagoon, same sort of thing. You lower it a bit. Poliwrath is interesting. You still lose, but it's a much closer match there. I don't see a ton of Poliwraths anymore. And then look at that. Scrafty is just, that's your problem, right? You're already getting destroyed against Scrafty, and now you're getting extra destroyed. Surfetched, look at that. You still losing, but it's now much, much closer to break even. Oops. And then Toxicroak again with the win, and then Umbreon, the difference being the last resort. And interesting, the Venusaur here, where you lost the 1 shield last time, you do not lose it in this one. So that's interesting. But again, we don't care about 1 shields per se because there's a lot of baiting involved in that. Let's go to the 0 shields and run an analysis there and see if anything changes substantially. So a lot of these, the problem is, I wish you could run this analysis with the 0 shield and 1 shield to see, because now I can't remember, like I'm looking at the Deoxys where you win both in the 0 shield, but I think you probably lose in the, so I'm sorry, I'll come back to that analysis in a second. I'm just going to check that Deoxys again here. Okay, so yeah, so the Deoxys you still barely won with the 502, but now in the 0 shield, it doesn't matter for the Psychic because you're just running in the dark. I just wanted to see the difference, and the difference is you pick up a little bit more of a victory 0 shielding there. Win. But in the 0 shield, we have a good amount of wins here. I'm more interested in the Machamp. Okay, so Machamp you still lose because Machamp is too bulky. Nidoqueen, same sort of thing. You would have won anyways against the normal one. But it doesn't look like there is a significant difference here. As we come to the end, Looks like it's the same Toxicroak again. We know that. And then Venusaur. Venusaur wins in the zero shield there. Interesting. So this is why I like doing the analysis, because you just kind of like learn those little tricks. Like, okay, if I have one shield against Venusaur left and I have an Umbreon, I know I can probably just out spam it. But if I have zero shields here, if I don't have the Psychic, I'm going to lose. So that's interesting. All that being said, Umbreon. Should you get one with Psychic? Yes. Does it need Last Resort 2? Yes. Both have play in this. Like I said earlier in the video, if you have Psychic Umbreon, you are already bad against Darks, you're going to get much, much worse. So if you want to have an Umbreon with Psychic, you need to have two things that can deal with Dark Pokemon, in my opinion, or else you're in just big trouble. Last Resort, again, still has a lot of play. Looking at this, again, it just depends how you want to team build. If you're just going to run Last Resort, you're still going to lose the Darks, but at least you can hit for neutral in a lot of other situations, and it gives you like more options for team building, right? Because you don't have to focus primarily on the Darks. So that is Umbreon. So yes, I would say get one for Great League and Ultra League is my opinion. So now we go to Sylveon, and Sylveon is interesting because not only is it getting, oops, no, I want to put Psyshock second. I want to just put the other one first. I guess we'll have to run it with Last Resort because you can TM, and it's the only other because here are the options. They're all charm moves except for Last Resort. So we'll run it with Last Resort, and then we'll run it with the Psyshock. And we'll start with the one shield again here. And the one shield. And this, I think, this is where I wish we can do the comparison with the zero shield, because I think it's going to come down to a lot more baiting. And in his analysis, so already you're picking up the Cresselia win there, and same with the Deox, right? And it's not because you're running Psyshock, because Psyshock is a psychic move on the psychic Pokemon. What you're getting there is a bait move, because it only costs, I think, 45 energy. So the strength in the one, so I'm going to keep Cresselia and Deox in mind because I'm interested to see if that's the same for zero shields. And I should take Umbreon off the board here because we are not on Umbreon anymore. We are on Sylveon. So I'm interested to see if that's the same, because PvPoke is all about you bait first, get a shield, and then you just go straight for your, in this case, charm type move. So we'll keep that in mind. So right now, if you bait properly, you will pick up Cress and Deox. So automatically, that's just two huge wins right there. Negligible there. Jellicent, same sort of thing. You now pick up, Jellicent's half Ghost, so Psychic is actually a pretty good moveset to have. So you pick up Jellicent, you pick up Lapras as well. So there are a lot of pickups here with Sylveon overall with Psyshock. And I'm going to see if the rankings are updated to see if they have. And you pick up Snorlax as well. So those are some big pickups with the one shield. And Togekiss is now even. So that is interesting in the one shield. So now let's go to the zero shield, because I'm interested about that Cress and the Deox there. So in the zero shield, here we go already. Right off the bat, you pick up again the Shadow Abomasnow, because you just have something, again, a shorter, the charm damage, right? Charm as a quick move with a Psyshock move that generates pretty quickly. That combo there allows you to pick up a Shadow Abomasnow because it's a little Glaceon. You now lose the Charizard, but it's negligible. Or the Dragon Breath, because the Fire Spin you actually gain a lot on. And let's go to, where's the Deox? So so you lose Crest. You still win Deox going that way. So I guess you get to the Moonblast and the Charms will take it out. But Crest is too thick that if you don't have a bait move, you're not going to win there. So just keep that in mind. Crest is a very bait dependent with Psyshock, and that's one of your main strengths with it. Looks like you pick up Galvantula too with the Psyshock. And again, so this is why I think overall Sylveon is probably the biggest winner for Community Day. And that's because you have the option to flip so many matchups. We know you're going to flip a couple matchups with Umbreon. against the like poison and the poison fighters. But overall, you don't do too much, and then you hard lose here. This Psyshock is a pure upgrade in terms of a move of a different, like a psychic type move that's quicker to charge and flips a lot of matchups here. So let's just keep going through the analysis. And again, Gramble you pick up as well. So this is right now, in my opinion, a huge upgrade to this, because I'm just seeing, and here's Ninetales, a Ninetales. You now pick up the a Ninetales win. So this is the first time I'm actually going through the full analysis just in the Zero Shield here, and it is fascinating. And you pick up Swampert too. So did I put Zero Shields for both? I did put Zero. So this is really Toxicroak, Togekiss. So, and your Venusaur matchup is much closer now. So this is in Ultra League is huge. If you want to run a Charmer now, this does provide a lot of coverage in Ultra League, because look at those matchups that you just picked up. And what you could do is, so I'm not going to run through the full analysis, but as we saw, Psyshock with Zero Shields right there. What you could do is you can also throw in the other Charmers, right? You can throw in a Clefable, you can throw in an Ninetales with, let's just do Charm, just to Ninetales with Charm, and you can also throw in a Togekiss with Charm. And basically what you could do is you can run that simulation, and it'll show you all the different matchups here. So look at that. You, with Ninetales, you would have beat a Shadow Bomb Snow, which others can't. Togekiss looks like it takes out Bronzong that you can't. So this is just one where and there you go. You and Clefable beat Deox. So this is just something you can do to say, like, okay, in this situation with this Pokemon against other Charmers, how does it fare? So it looks like Togekiss, but there you go. You pick up this against Ninetales as well. So each of these Charmers have their own strengths and weaknesses. But right now it looks like, for the most part, Sylveon overall may be the best Charmer. Togekiss is pretty, but there's a couple more there. So, yeah, this is one, except for Shadow Snorlax. Interesting. Shadow Snorlax is probably one of the weaker ones. But again, another one against Swampert, which we just went over. So that is, for me, really interesting. It in my opinion, that quick analysis looks like Sylveon just became one of the best Charmers for Ultra League. So definitely worth investing in one. I now know where my focus is going to be, quite honestly. Let us go to Master League. And so we will reset this. We'll put in Sylveon with the Last Resort first, and then we'll put it in with the Psyshock. And we'll run it in the 1 shield scenario, the 0 shield scenario, and then I'm actually going to do that analysis again against the Charmers, because I am interested in seeing that. So in the 1 shield, so let's just do this quickly, because I'm more actually interested in how it fares up against others. Doesn't look like you actually lose against Therian Landorus, so that's interesting. You pick up Snorlax, and that's basically it. Okay, so let's go to the 0 shield. And in the 0 shield, you pick up Garchomp, which is a nice pickup because those are everywhere. Giratina Origin, that's a big pickup. That's a really big pickup. And Mamoswine. Interesting. So those are pretty big pickups in the 0 shield. So what it's going to come down to is, and you got Blackberry against Togekiss. So those are pretty big pickups there. And it comes down to, in the 0 shield, the Charm plus Psyshock is just probably going to outpower these Pokemon. So let's just run it against, and I'm trying to think outside of Togekiss, is there any other Charmer in Master League that's worth analyzing? I don't think so, because if you look at the meta, Sylveon and Togekiss are the two there. So let's run the Zero Shield first to see if there is any difference. Okay, so Sylveon beats Dialga in the Zero Shield, and Togekiss doesn't. Really interesting. Really interesting. Dragonite is a little worse, but I think that's just that's interesting too. And the Garchomp, okay, but you both win there. So you lose the Groudon. Togekiss beats Groudon, but Sylveon loses. Togekiss with Ancient Power will take out Ho-Oh, because I guess that Ancient Power is going to take it out. And you do win the Mamoswine, which Togekiss obviously as a half flyer gets destroyed on. And you take the Zekrom win. And that's in the Zero Shield. And let's just quickly do the one shield and end this video, because I have been rambling now for 21 minutes. But I think it's important to know this. Looking across the board here, still get the win, but some of these are much better for Togekiss in the one shield. Interesting. Landorus. Mamoswine's the only one that you would win. So interesting. So Togekiss in the one shield. So that is an interesting analysis right there, because what that basically just said is if you are down to 0 shields, you want Sylveon because it picks up a few matches there. But if you have 1 shield, Togekiss is overall better. So I think just the bulk and charm of Togekiss just outpowers in general Sylveon. So Sylveon may be a little glassier than Togekiss. So I need to look up those analysis, but that's just my initial read. So that is basically it. In my opinion, what should you do? You should focus on, if you don't have an Umbreon with Last Resort yet, like I still think you need to get one, but I would probably pick up an Umbreon for Great League and Ultra League. I pick up a Sylveon for Ultra League and Master for sure. And then I pick up maybe one of these each of the other ones, just in case something happens. But for the most part, you will not need them. So that is it. I've been rambling. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.